Here's the dirtiest tactic of all. They're absolutely toxic. I know some people are gonna use it for the wrong reasons, and I was telling myself, like, fuck, I can't say this. You know, how do I destroy this person? You know, and all this shit.
You can attach meaning to your life, but that meaning is yours and yours alone. It's not objective. It's not an absolute.
Disclaimer, for educational and entertainment purposes only. I am not held responsible for the consequences from using this information in the wrong ways. So personally, in my entire life, I was never really that good at lying. Why did I not lie? Because, you know, I thought, well, just say the freaking truth. It's just simple to just say the truth all the time. In Brad Blanton's book, I think that's his name, called Radical Honesty, he talks about how it's very important to say the truth. You know, it can save you precious time, frustration, and misery in your life. And it's a lot easier to just say the truth instead of putting a mask on. And I entirely agree on this, and that is why I do not suggest people to lie. But there are moments when you just don't have a choice. But first of all, what is a lie? A lie is simply not saying the truth. Or a lie could also be a half-truth, right? You take the truth and you cut it in half and you only show this part. You don't show the other part. That could be another form of lying. So just to expand your definition of lying, it's not straight up saying something false all the time. It's not straight up deceiving someone with entirely made up facts. You could have a few facts that are true, and then the rest of it can be blown out of proportion. When should you be allowed to lie? The moment you've been waiting for. There are many times when people lie, but they will never admit that they lie. Here are some examples. Job interviews. That's it, I said it. Job interviews. Well, don't they want your real qualifications? Don't they want the real you to work for them? Sure, but if any company asks you this, why do you want to work for us? I want to work for you because of this, that on their website. But the real reason why you want to work for them is because you want money. Look, if at a job interview you have to brag about yourself, sell yourself, the CV, it's the same thing. The interviewer is not actually going to look up every single little detail on your CV. Okay, they have to hire a bunch of people. Do you think every single CV that they're going to like read every single little bullet point? No, probably not. You can take certain facts about your CV and blow them out of proportion, make them a lot better than they actually are. If you worked at a sales job, whatever thing, instead of just saying sales, you could give details like with big flowery words of how you did it, excellent, beyond measure, customer satisfaction, whatever thing. Can the interviewer go and ask all those customers how you did? No. So it's only about how you present it. Deceitful people. Some people are just out there to deceive you. Telemarketers, people that, you know, they just want to sell you shit. In the moment when you're getting deceived, you can just be like, hey, you know what? I'm too busy right now. No, sorry, bye. Like, who cares? They're just telemarketers. Do you even give a shit? They just want to sell you shit. So why do you care about telling them the truth or not? They're not telling you the truth right now. As they're seducing you, they're just kind of like throwing smoke at you, like trying to seduce you into liking their shit. And then at the end, you know, they sell you on some bullshit. Number 3, with overly sensitive people. Overly sensitive people. You know those people that are just so nice to you, like very, very nice. And you know that behind this veneer of niceness, that they're probably the most resentful people you will ever meet. Why is that? Because they always have to be nice and pleasing to others. And in this fashion, they do it because they're afraid of criticism, of repercussions, of negative consequences. So then they're not used to hearing the truth. People that are overly nice and polite do not like hearing the truth. And in fact, they'll resent you even more for telling them the truth. Obviously, not all nice people, right? Some people are genuinely nice. The people that are nice just to please others, when they're confronted with the hard fact of reality, hey, listen, I've known you for 5-10 years and you've been doing the same shit for 5-10 years and look where you are at now. No self-improvement, nothing. You're still living in your mom's basement, right? All those things, right? Are you gonna tell the truth to that person? Sure you could, but they're gonna resent you at the same time. Another example, you could be at a party right now where there's a lot of people, everyone's having fun and being nice and everything. Someone says a story, right? An entire story, it's a brilliant story, whatever. And you find out in the middle of the story that it's not actually true, right? He's telling the story of how this girl got murdered and then the police found the murder or whatever thing, right? And then, but you know the fact that actually, no, this was all a made up story. Are you gonna tell that to the person, right? After he's gone, like stole the life of the party? Are you gonna ruin his fun? Well, you potentially could, but at the same time, do you really wanna break the fun? Do you really wanna make it worse for everybody, right? Sometimes telling the truth can actually lower the satisfaction and fulfillment, and always assume that people love having their egos put on top, whatever. So, you know, be careful with that. Like, you don't have to tell them right away, like, hey, you're wrong. You could be like, wow, that's a great story. That could be a good short-term solution just for that social event. Obviously not long-term, you don't want to be a doormat, but there are certain times where social grace, being graceful in your interactions, is better than just being a straight-up truthful asshole. There's moments to convey the truth, and there are moments not to convey the truth. And that's just a part of socializing, in my opinion, the part of sales, the part of business, the part of self-development. I guess many people will disagree with me on this, so if you do, well, let me know. I am very curious. Sometimes it's just better to keep the status quo, quote unquote, to keep the social harmony going on. And you know, many networking events, when you're networking with other business people, you're kind of putting a front, right? Are they always telling you the truth 100%? Do they have your best interests at heart? Probably not. They probably just want something from you. And I mean, that's okay. That's what business networking events usually are. Do you go to a business networking event just to kind of like mingle and have drinks? Maybe, but probably there's a bit of an agenda behind it. So what you present versus what you actually are is different. So good reasons to lie. You know, to be diplomatic. What do politicians do? They say certain facts like, I will change the education system, which is true, but they don't get into details of how exactly, right? They just kind of say they're gonna do it. And you know, it's a half truth there, but it's not entirely 100% true. Because can you say the entire truth to the population? To tell them, listen, you want more money in this country? Well, work your ass off. Stop asking me to do things. I'm just a politician. You, the people, you millions of zillions of people, you make the money. You make the riches. All I can do is manage it a little bit, right? I can't take money from the sky and give it to you. Who is gonna say that, right? No politician's gonna say that. So remember, lying is only a short-term solution. Don't make it a long-term goal. Don't build a bunch of false promises with people that you want to build relationships with. So remember that. What is the mindset behind artful lying? First of all, you have to have a good reason to do it. Bad reasons to lie include wanting to hurt someone, wanting to get revenge on someone, wanting to deceive someone for malicious reasons, whatever that is. And I'm not God right now, so you're the one that will decide that, right? To inflate your ego, your reputation. The second mindset to lying is to be good at it. You need to remove any forms of guilt or shame around it. Because when you have guilt or shame around lying, your guilt and shame is gonna show through your demeanor, through your eyes, and the other person you're lying to will pick up on it. And as soon as they pick up on it, they will not believe you the slightest. And a third tip, never underestimate the other person's intelligence. Assume that they're just as intelligent as you, that they can probably see through you if you don't do it right. So you have to be one step ahead of the other person. Another tip, fully commit to the lie. Once you start, you can't back down. Any sign of backing down will just destroy all the mask that you've constructed. It'll crumble down as soon as you stop committing to that lie. And last tip, know your victim. Are they the naive type? Are they the intelligent type? Are they the easily deceived type? Are they the people-pleasing type? Are they the abusive, narcissistic type? Knowing your person's blueprint of how they interact with others, how they expect others to behave, take all those things in consideration before you do this lie. For example, a superior that looks at people often does the suspicious look like this, kind of be like, you know, like when you ask something, he starts like going like that and look at you like kind of funny, like this. He's the suspicious type. So be careful if you're lying to someone like that. Some other people, especially younger people, in my opinion, they're more naive, right? So if you tell them something, they're more likely to believe it. In general, the younger you are, the more you take things kind of like literally. And be careful, because some skillful people will have a naive facade. That's what I do when I go to work. If I'm somewhere down there, I kind of like act naive, like I don't really know what I always make my superiors feel better, feel superior than me. I never try to outshine them. I never try to show how smart I am, smarter than they are. Know the person, like, okay, what's behind that? So the how to lie actually. Now we've done all the mindsets, we've prepared you, we've gone through the groundwork, we've told you what not to do, we've told you when not to lie and when it is okay to lie. How do you do it? Step 1, know the lie. From A to Z, you have to know all the backstory, all the details of it, constructed to the fact. What are you lying about? What is the intention? What do you want to make them believe? Step number 2, remain composed and calm. Kind of say it nonchalantly, saying the facts, right? Oh yeah, so you know this happened. And then just move on. Number 3, be general in your descriptions, right? And only give details if they ask for it. Let's say a boss asks you like, oh, can you work tomorrow? And then you tell them, well, I can't right now because I have social obligations that I am bound to. Right? I didn't get into the details of what those social obligations are. Right? Social obligation, it's a very vague thing. Instead of saying, oh, I have shit to do. No, I have social obligations. You know, it sounds a little more formal without being specific. That's a good one, by the way. Formal without being specific. So try that one out. And only give further details if they ask for it. And hopefully they don't. But don't give too many details so that they can refute it. So if you say, oh, well, I have to go to this whatever appointment at 2 p.m. at whatever place, and you tell them right away, it's like, oh, okay, well, how about 4 p.m.? Right? And then they kind of go around it. No, you want to make sure that you do it right. Saying too much could make it too obvious that you're trying to cover your tracks, right? Don't make it obvious. Number 4, predict in advance. What is their likely reply? What is the why, the what, the when, the who, right? Make sure you have those questions answered in your head. Number 5, once you have all this planned out, well, maybe before you do it, you can rehearse it in your mind and kind of practice it in your mind. Like, oh, they're going to say this, then I'm going to say that. So then you know how to do it. Number 6, keep positive body language, you know? If you go like, oh, well, no, I did not do this, right? And you kind of look suspicious like this, obviously they're going to kind of doubt what you just said. But if you just stay calm and composed, how would the normal me say it if it were to be true? If you can say the lie the same exact way that you can say, this is a red pen, as a factual thing, then you're on a good track. So let's say you say, well, my grandmother died. The same way you say, my pen is red. Next step, number 7, watch the recipient's body language. Extremely important. How do they react? If they tense up, if they become a little suspicious, like they frown like this, or they look a little like withdrawn, like, they kind of look like they're taking a step back or something, then just be careful. Just remain calm still, and they probably might ask you a question back or something. So then just reply calmly. So like, oh yeah, I have an appointment. And you're like, what kind of appointment? Just going to the doctor. Yeah, I have to go see the doctor for my whatever thing. Not more specific than that. Keep eye contact, don't be like glaring at them. So at this point, if they ever tense up, you gotta keep composure. The more composed you feel, the more normal you are, the better. Keep it consistent, hold to the facts, all the way until it's done. And then, last tip, after you're done, just change the topic. Don't stay on it. Don't like do it obviously, but kind of just casually like, so did you do that thing that we were supposed to do for that team project? Yeah. Oh yeah, I remembered. I did the accounting there and I did this and that, and then you're off on a different topic. Congratulations. Make sure it's not entirely irrelevant, that it's obviously trying to mask something, but just kind of make it like a subtle remark. Additional tips on body language: don't smile too much. Or even don't smile at all. Why? Because when you smile and when you laugh, it's actually a defensive mechanism. You're trying to relieve tension. When someone tells you a very good joke, it creates tension, because in the joke there's a conflict. Or when it gets very awkward, some people just laugh out of reflexivity because it's to relieve the tension. Same thing with lying. If you laugh or smile too much, it might not be good. Unless you're the type that smiles and laughs a lot, you can have a little smile, but make sure that it's authentic to you. What happens if you get found out, or if they just kind of question your motives and they're not entirely sure? Because it might happen. Sometimes you're in a very tricky situation where you're literally caught, busted, almost like in a movie, by the police, put your hands up. And then you're kind of like, oh well. Some situations are very hard to lie your way out of. But if you've committed already, you can't back down anymore. You've committed, that's it. So now what do? Well, there are certain ways you can counter their accusations. If they accuse you of something, you can do what I call a value callback. Well, for the value of the team, for the integrity of the team, let's cooperate on this. Isn't that false? You told me you were gonna go to the doctor, and then whatever shit, they countered your accusations. Then you tell them, well, you have to cooperate with me on this, for the integrity of the team. Of course I would tell you the truth. And another one that I call the trust callback. Calling back to the trust that you've already built with that person. And very careful here, okay? Very careful. Only do this on fake friends, on bullies, on whoever's trying to attack you, an abusive boss, but don't do that on real friends, because if you do that on real friends, they're not your real friends, okay? Remember this. If I get comments down below oh, my girlfriend is being manipulative, how do I lie to her? Fuck off. I don't want any comments on how do I lie to my boyfriend? How do I counter his accusations of, no, get out of this relationship. That's the answer. Anyways, rant here. But yeah, the trust callback is you say to a fake friend or to an abusive boss, well, why don't you trust me, right? For all the things I've done for you and all this thing we've built together, why don't you trust me? Throughout the weeks, throughout the months. Of course I wouldn't lie to you. Of course I would tell you the truth. So, here's the dirtiest tactic of all. You're gonna love this, and I know some people are gonna use it for the wrong reasons, and I was telling myself, fuck, I can't say this. I can't say this, because people are gonna use it for the wrong reason and ask me how do I destroy this person, and all this shit. But here's a dirty one. Here's a dirty tactic. You're gonna love it. The guilt trip. Very simple. Well, you're being inconsiderate right now. That's very shaming of you. That's very attacking of you. Really? Why would you not believe me? I was trying to be nice the entire time with you. For all the things I've done for you, and then you just kind of drop this bomb on me that maybe I'm lying. Come on, dude. We've done this for a while now. Come on. Guilt trip, man. They're absolutely toxic, man. If you go down this route, This is like last resort, okay? If you're really stuck there with this person, okay? Like, you know, people hate confronting people in general. So when you're not afraid of it and you kind of like drop this on them, they'll back themselves up, be like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. Yeah, of course I trust you, man. Of course, like we can do this together. I did not mean to make you feel like guilty or shameful, whatever, right? The guilt trip makes the other person feel like they are the abuser, not you. If you're a woman and you're highly attractive, you don't even have to be that amazingly attractive. Be seductive with the other person, the other man that you're trying to, you know, seduce. You know, you just give like this little flirty look in your eyes kind of thing, like, please, can you do that for me? Obviously, I can't do it because I'm not a woman, but you know, girls, you know exactly what I'm talking about, all right? You know exactly what I'm talking about. Don't lie. You know how to do this. Use your charm and seduction as a distraction. But don't be too obvious with this, because some men, if you do that to them, they will deeply resent you. They thought that they were able to get you. When they realize that you were lying the entire time, then they'll turn their back on you. They will lash out. They will like destroy you. They absolutely hate you. So be careful with this. And in fact, this happens with any sort of lying with anybody. If they found out that you were lying, the consequences will be disastrous. So be careful. So the aftermath, what do? Never mention the lie ever again, right? Mention it as little as possible. Let it slide. Don't come back to it, okay? Only if you have to, right? So, you know, go back to your life. Congrats. So in conclusion, myself, personally, I rarely had to use this, like, you know, this elaborate formula to do like an elaborate lie, right? Some people, they're just naturally better at it. Me personally, I never really, you know, I always try to say the truth. For example, if it's like self-development, getting better, close friendships, I always try to say the truth. You know, I was talking about the oversensitive, nice person. I had someone like that in my life. And I would tell them the truth all the time, and they did not like it. This person grew resentful of me because I was saying certain things that were it was my fault too. Like the truth was not said properly. They were kind of offended by it. It's always better to say the truth as much as you can. Always strive for truth. It's actually in my list of values to say the truth. I have like a list of 10 values, and number 1 or 2 is like truth. Truth is at the top of the list for me. But sometimes the truth also implies that you have to lie at certain times when you have to cover your tracks for some things you've done or whatever. And I know people will listen to this, be like, well, how is this self-improvement? You're trying to convince people to wear a mask and everything. Well, if you're living in real life, you will understand that there are certain moments when you don't have a freaking choice. You just have to do it. But I still don't recommend it very much. It's very rare that you should use this. Maybe once in a blue moon you will use this. Every day strive for truth. Don't lie to inflate your ego. Don't lie to hurt others deliberately. Only do so at the right times. But I'm not a moral justice warrior here. So you create your own morality out of this, okay? There is no moral stance about this entire video. However you want to take it, just do it. Do whatever the fuck you want with it. But make sure, please, that it is for the greater good. If you like my Machiavellian series, let me know, and I'll do more of these. And don't forget to click on the bell so you receive all my videos that I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday next time. So thank you for watching. That was a long ass video. Holy shit, how long was I recording this? Oh, I just received a text from the client. Woohoo, yeah, money.